Our top statewide story, the strongest earthquake in a dozen years rattled Montana overnight. And today, residents of the hardest hit towns are cleaning up the mess. The 5.8 magnitude quake shook the state just after midnight. The epicenter was located about 5.5 miles southeast of Lincoln, but aftershocks were felt 300 miles away in Billings. The U.S. Geological Survey says it was felt as far west as Spokane, Washington. The earthquake lasted for upwards of 30 seconds, beginning with a slow tremor and then building in intensity. But it only took seconds for it to crumble some buildings and throw products off the shelves of supermarkets. As I mentioned, the quake originated near Helena. Here's a look at the damage there. The D&D Food Town grocery store was one of the hardest hit businesses in the Lincoln area. Every aisle of the store was impacted. Broken glass, jars, bottles, and cans littered the floor. Assistant Manager Ruth Baker tells MTN the damage was much worse than expected.
I knew it was going to be bad in the store, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad. We've got some extra help coming in, get everything cleaned up, see what's damaged, and go from there.
Meanwhile, the Lewis and Clark Sheriff's Office is making plans with the Lincoln Rural Fire Department to check area bridges and other city infrastructure. They will also check for damaged propane lines, chimneys, and heating vents, which can increase the risk of fire or carbon monoxide poisoning. Both offices encourage residents to report issues and hazards. While many of us were fast asleep when the earthquake hit, some were awake. This is what people felt in Missoula.
As previously reported, the earthquake began at 12:38 a.m. with an epicenter 5.5 miles southeast of Lincoln. Here in Missoula, it felt to some like an unpleasant boat ride.
Yeah, it really felt like just my vertigo was off and I was dizzy, and walking to the bartenders, I just felt like something was off.
At first, Martin and her friends didn't believe they were caught in the middle of an earthquake.
The bartender was like, "Whoa, we just had an earthquake." And I was like, "Wait a second, you guys are messing with us, right?"
This was the first earthquake Sam Soskin felt. He said the experience left him shaken, but exhilarated.
Yeah, this earthquake, that was crazy. I've been living in Montana for like 10 years. I've never felt anything like that.
Christopher Wollington was sitting in his room on the 3rd floor of the Copper Run apartment complex when the quake struck.
And I felt my room shake a little bit, and I got really concerned because I haven't felt an earthquake in a really long time. And then my fan almost fell over, and then my dad rushed into my room and was like, "Did you feel that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's an earthquake. We need to get out of here right now."
His father insisted they leave the apartment to avoid getting caught in any aftershocks.
We want to be on the 3rd floor and possibly have a building fall down.
In Missoula, Eric Clements, MTN News.
Thank you, Eric. And Butte earthquake expert Michael Stickney called this morning's quake significant. He says the quake occurred on a fault that was thought to be inactive.